This is the B3 Radio Network. B3 Radio Network. Visit us online at b3productionstudios.webs.com. In a world where car companies are numbered in the hundreds, BMW, Nissan, Mitsubishi, Kawasaki, GMC, Lotus, Lincoln, Toyota, Chevrolet, Ford, Honda, Lexus, General Motors, you need to know the facts, the latest information for everything about cars, trucks, motorcycles, and ATVs. This is Speed.
Yep, that's right. That's the first episode of Speed. This is the show about cars, trucks, motorcycles, and ATVs. I am your host, Bryan Barrios, and my other co-host, Buntarn, Mcgyver Horn.
Hello, everybody.
And don't forget, we webcast every show here on the B3 Radio Network, so what's up? And we don't have an email or a phone number yet, but we'll get soon on that. The studio is sort of going through like a remodeling phase, so we'll go ahead and get that through. But this is a show where we keep you updated to everything car related, especially with me. I guess what I'm going to do is just do more of like news topics from like what's going on with Fiat, what's going on with the car companies, and Mcgyver's got more of like his
technical,
own. Yeah. Well, I mean, you're the one that wants to become the mechanic on the show.
Yes.
Yeah. That's not my profession. I do find cars fun. I've always had a fascination with cars, but mine is like a hobby.
Oh, hobby. Okay.
Yours is like more like you want to do that as a career choice. Right?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
What experience have you had, though? Like, let's just go into a little intro here.
Okay, so far, what I've done with the car, I've done a little bit of body work. I've replaced a bumper. Yeah, just a bumper.
Yeah.
Nothing fancy.
Well, I mean, you don't have any credentials yet, like any certifications?
No, I'm still working on those.
Okay.
But I've also done an engine rebuild, transmission replace, 2 engine replacements, and then tune-ups.
Oh, okay, well, that's cool. Yeah, I've only done basic things like a couple of tune-ups here and there.
Like oil changes?
Yeah, well, I do all my oil changes.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And,
Well, that's good.
I do that, but like I took only like 2 ROP classes back in my high school days. One was body work, put Bondo and stuff like that. And then the other one was just like basic, like this is an engine, this is a cylinder, this is an O-ring, stuff like that. Like really simple stuff. So yeah, that was all I just do mine as a hobby thing again. Okay. And I'm like, if you have to tell me to choose between power or style, I'm going to go more of style. Like, I'd rather have a really slow car that looks really badass than, like, a really fast car that looks like a piece of junk. Are you, like, the same way or no?
In the middle. Towards the middle, yeah. Okay.
Well, I know with most Americans, or at least most of the car market, they tend to go towards the style than the power.
Yeah. I
mean, there are enthusiasts. Like, I am a muscle car enthusiast. I love muscle cars. There's the Dodge Challenger, the Ford Mustang, and the awesome Chevrolet Camaro. And then, the car companies that are dead now, like the Pontiac Firebird. And then there was the Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme, or the Oldsmobile 442. Talk about tanks. Those things were Oldsmobiles that were made awesome with the chrome bumpers and stuff. But most Americans don't really want. I mean, they want power. They don't want something that's just gonna clunk out and
But it's nowadays all that power is going towards trucks and SUVs. Nothing with the cars.
Well, they really need it though, especially when you're going uphill. But I have a list here of from 2011. It's the top 10 selling automobile brands and cars and models. From 2011. Specific cars and models, yeah. And the first contender is the Honda Civic. I kind of found that a bit surprising. I didn't think it would sell that well, but
I'm not entirely surprised.
Well, no, I'm just saying that because of this year, Honda's had really bad lagging sales.
Yeah,
and they've had a lot of bad reviews. I mean, the sales of the Honda Civic, though, it's like a double whammy here. Not only you have to remember this in this list, there are. The majority on this list of the 10, there's only Japanese, I'll say foreign markets like Japanese. There's no Europeans. Europeans don't have really a strong threshold of any car manufacturer, especially here in the United States. It's either the Japanese or the Americans. Those are the 2 big players. And with this list, you have to remember, 2011, with that tsunami that hit Japan, really hurt a lot of car companies this year.
Yeah.
So Honda... and especially Toyota. Toyota's, I think they lost like 4 plants during that tsunami. So they got hit really hard. But yeah.
My condolences to Japan.
Yeah, that sucks. So yeah, hopefully this year they'll have better sales and stuff. But more companies means more competition, which means better product for everybody. So as much as I don't hate Japanese cars. I dislike them. I'm more favorable toward the American market. But if there wasn't Japanese cars, then American cars would suffer because there wouldn't be the quality. in there. But yeah, the Honda Civic is number 10, selling 221,000 cars. That sounds like...
What year specifically? This last year?
Yeah, this is
all last year.
This is just 2011, and this is just for the Honda Civic.
Oh, wow.
Now, it gives you a pretty good idea on how much volume these car manufacturers make, and this is number 10. So the other ones are actually selling very well. But keep in mind this, with the Japanese cars, they got hit really bad with that tsunami, so they lost a lot of product. That's Toyota especially. But with the Honda Civic, it was like that. But also, Honda suffered really bad with their current, I guess, a lot of people dislike the way the body styling looks on this new Civic.
Yeah, because a lot of people when they buy a Civic, they more towards the street.
Yeah, actually, for this year, 2011, sales were down 15.3%.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot for a big manufacturer like that. And I guess they launched this new body look in 2012 for the 2012 model year, which they sell them in 11. But apparently, I guess one of the CEOs that it says right here, it met poor critical acclaim. So there's already an announcement that for the 2013 model year, they're going to change the body again.
Again.
Yeah, and for a car company to do that really quick, that means they messed up really bad.
Yes.
And for the people that are watching the webcast, I'll put a little picture of the car. I kind of like the vehicle. It doesn't look that bad, but then again, it's not my flavor. But like I said before,
He's an all-American guy.
Yeah, I'm all-American, but I mean, 221,000 sales is still really good. And that's just one model of Civic. I mean, it's not like the Civic. What is there, like the XL or the SL?
So that's just in general.
That's just all Civics.
Yeah, all of them in general, right? Oh, okay. Well, that's actually pretty good.
That's pretty good. I mean, that's not including the whole Honda brand. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, no, but
and I'm not going
specifically
into,
for
it's
Civics.
not like they sold that many of the base Civic, and then there's the SL Civic, and whatever the number is.
This is just the Civic in general.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's actually pretty good though. Still.
And number 9, a car company that I don't really hear too much around is Hyundai. I know they're around, but Hyundai, I don't remember them at all. They don't have like any good ads or foothold, I think, in the U.S. But they're number 9 here, and it's the Sonata.
Oh, the Sonata.
Which you see everywhere, especially around here in California. They're everywhere.
I keep thinking those are Hondas, though, because of the H, but the Honda is slanted.
I always figured, that must be confusion. Honda must hate them because it's Hyundai, Honda.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like, a Honda person accidentally, people that aren't, a lot of people in America aren't into cars. Like, they'll just buy Toyota Corollas and all that stuff because they need to get from point A to point B. They're not in the same demographic like you and I, where we care what brand it is, what its specs are, what its torque ranges are, what it can do. Yeah,
they just want point A to point B, the cheapest, and the cheapest.
The cheapest, they want a good deal, and does it look okay?
Does it look okay? Yeah.
Or does it look good? It doesn't look great like, I want a Camaro kind of thing, or you want your, like a Bugatti or like your Mercedes or whatever.
Bugatti's way out there, but more of a Nissan Skyline.
Yeah, like stuff like that. But actually for the Hyundai Sonata, they enjoyed really good record sales this year. The
Sonata?
Yeah. Well, it's actually the company's top seller model right now for 2011. It was a number 1 car, and their percentage was 15%. So what Honda lost this year, the Sonata. So I'm guessing maybe that particular market of the people that left Honda and said, I don't want to buy that Civic, they probably wanted the Sonata.
Probably.
Also, I heard that their tech reviews were really good. They have a really good tech cabin in there now. And with Hyundai, their hope for 2011 is since 2010 actually, a lot of car companies have been revamping their engineering, where the inside isn't like cheap hard plastics anymore. They have like really nice finishing, nice stitching in the leather, so they don't look like old cars, like especially the 1990s with the American cars, especially the Chevrolet. They're cheap little cars in the 90s. The insides were hard, cheap plastic. They looked really ugly and plain. Nowadays, people are just going to walk away. They're not going to take it anymore because car companies need your money, so now they're going to change things around, which is a good thing. But, yeah, the Hyundai rose pretty good, and this is a pretty look. Actually, I like kind of the car. It looks okay. It has like a very aggressive front end of the vehicle, but it's a 4-door.
Oh.
Yeah. But then again, when you think of a Hyundai,
I don't know. I never thought of Hyundai would be in the top 10.
And what's pretty remarkable, Toyota is the number 1 seller of cars, of common cars, especially the Camry.
Oh yeah,
and
the Camry.
What's the Corolla? Like those two
Camry,
models,
Corolla,
those are like the 2 most popular ones, just because they're cheap, they look okay, and they get good gas mileage and all that. Well, this car only sold 80,000 fewer than that. That's not too big of a percentage of a number.
80,000.
80,000, and they would have been tied with one of the two brands from Toyota. That's pretty remarkable.
Wow,
and
that's
this car
really
company
good.
has less sources than Toyota does.
That's actually really good.
Yeah, so that's pretty awesome. I give my hats to them. And actually, the little tagline for that is "Close but no cigar."
Oh.
And what is this? Oh, wow. No. Actually, yeah. Okay. So the next one going up the list is the Chevrolet Cruze. So I'm proud an American car got up there. Now, Chevrolet just launched this car for this year, selling 231, well, rounded up, it's 232,000 models sales for this year for that model.
For the Cruze?
The Chevrolet Cruze. Now, I love this car. It's American, so of course I'm biased toward it, but it has a really nice, good-looking front end. It's very aggressive. Its stance very good, and it's out. The product for this year, it outsold both the Cadillac and Buick brands. Like total Cadillac sales, this car beat it.
Oh,
and total Buick
really?
And total Buick Buick sales, this car model alone beat it.
Just the model.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's actually really good.
And the funny thing is that those two other brands, Buick and Cadillac, they're part of General Motors also, which is part of Chevrolet. So Chevrolet has been really good, doing really well this year. Which also, another side note is that at the beginning of this year, every year actually, all the major car companies release their stats. You know, like, did they improve this year? Which models were better? Which ones were worse by brand and division? Well, General Motors right now has 4 brands. It's Chevrolet, Buick, Cadillac, and GMC. Well, all the brands are down except for Chevrolet, because Chevrolet stole all the other brands' sales. Chevrolet rose up, I think, like an incredible number too. It was like over 100%. You know, they doubled what they did last year. But the other brands went down because everybody else from Buick and all that, they said, hey, let's just get a Chevrolet instead. So it went down.
That's a burn.
But it's a really nice looking car. And actually, I'm mistaken. The Hyundai and the Civic, those are 11 and 12. For whatever reason, they added them here in the bottom.
Wait, 11
and 12. Like the Honda Civic was number 12. I guess they wanted to. I guess because those two tied.
Oh, okay.
Like as in, because they also review tech here, but I'm not going into that because we don't drive the cars.
Car in general.
Yeah, because we don't drive the cars. We don't have any. I would love to drive a car, those and test them out, but we don't do that here. And then the Honda, the Hyundai. See, there I go with the Honda and Hyundai. Hyundai was actually number 11. So the Cruze was number 10.
Oh, wow.
So I'm sorry, I'm mistaken. But yeah, so right at the edge, it was an American car, so that's good. But the number 9, and this does not surprise me at all. I mean, it's probably been in the top 10 for like, the last 15 years, the Honda Accord.
Oh, yes, the Accord.
It's selling 235,000 models.
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty good. And like Toyota, this one suffered, again, because of the Japan. I think every car here is saying that, and sales were down 16.9%. That's a pretty dramatic number.
Well, that's because of,
I think everybody is going to be saying, because it seems like right now it's equal all around the board saying that sales were down 15%. I'm pretty sure that's not their fault. It's the tsunami that hit them pretty bad.
Mother Nature. I'm just kidding.
But yeah, this car...
no, but that doesn't really surprise me. Honda Accords are really good.
For a commoner car like this, where you just need to get to point A and point B, it's actually a pretty decent looking car. It has a nice grille. Its headlights.
Which one are you looking at? The 2-door or 4-door?
This is the 4-door.
Oh, the 4-door.
I don't know if they make 2 doors. A lot of car companies don't make 2 doors anymore.
The Honda Accord has 2 doors.
Okay, it does. I know with American car companies like Chevrolet, back in the 90s, even before, like for instance the Pontiac Grand Am. They would have every car. There would be a 2-door and a 4-door model. Nowadays, they just make 4-door models. They don't bother with 2 doors anymore. A lot of car companies.
Everybody's going. Yeah.
No, I mean, I guess if you figured, why make a 2-door model if it's not going to sell that many?
Yeah.
So that's pretty good. And again, another contender that doesn't surprise me. Number 8 on the list, the Toyota Corolla, selling 240,000 models. That's no surprise.
I have to admit, the Corollas are nice. It's just the design of it is a little not my style.
Well, I mean? I have to give it to Toyota. They know how to sell cars. Yes. They can sell a ton of them.
Yes.
From I think when they entered the market, like in the 50s, I remember reading somewhere in an article where when Toyota first came over to the United States market, they only sold 5 or 8 cars their first year ever here in America. I think that was like 58. Whenever they came here first, they only sold 5 cars. So from going from that to being this car, the Toyota Corolla, is the top-selling compact sedan in the United States.
That's actually pretty good.
Now, it doesn't mean of all cars because that's why it's number 8, but
Yeah.
the compact sedan, that is a huge number, especially in America where there's about 300 million people. Not everybody drives and owns a car, but
There's still a lot of
that's
people.
a huge amount of, that's a huge number.
But yeah, but that doesn't surprise me though. Corollas are actually really good.
Well, yeah, I remember back in my heyday of riding in a few and stuff, we had a couple of friends that had them, but
it was good.
they were a good get-around car for people that didn't, you know, have, what's the thing I'm looking for? You know, the, just getting around and out and all that. It didn't, there was like no problems with it. You know, it was just a perfect little tiny car. So, well, we got to take a break. We'll be right back. We'll be back on number 7 until 1, going down the list. So, but I'm still really surprised that
Well, the Hyundai, dude, really?
Yeah, oh, you mean the Sonata?
Yeah, the Sonata.
Yeah, that's a big number cruncher right there.
Never expected Sonata to
I don't
be
think
up
I don't think last year was on the list at all. I think Hyundai was really suffering last year, and they rose up pretty good this year, though. But we'll get back to number 7, which I'm glad number 7 is where it's at. It's a really good vehicle. So we'll get back. This is the B3 Radio Network, and this show, the newest show on here, Speed.
This is the B3 Radio Network. B3 Radio Network. Visit us online at b3productionstudios.webs.com.
Welcome back to Speed on the B3 Radio Network, and where we left off was number 7, and I'm glad to see this little guy on here. Well, you can be the judge if it's little. It's the Dodge Ram 1500, 2500, and the 3500 being number 7 on the list.
Little.
Yeah.
Little.
Well, especially if you look at the 2500, my God, that thing is huge.
The Super Duties.
Oh my God, yeah. Well, I just read this thing right now. I mean, this is the closest vehicle that even competes with the Ford F-150 and the Chevrolet Silverado, being America's a lot about trucks, and America loves American trucks. Now there is the Toyota, the Tundra, and the Nissan Titan, they mentioned the Titan here being the other two competitors, but the Dodge Ram, keep in mind, it's the third the third truck in the American market. It's the least selling truck of the American brands. Ford's F-150 and the Chevrolet Silverado, they outsell the Ram every year, and the Ram makes it up here every time. They're a good truck company, but the Toyota Tundra and the Nissan Titan, there's a number ratio. Every 2 Dodges they sell one Toyota and one Nissan. So that's a pretty big number.
Yeah,
it's doubled.
That's actually,
and Dodge Rams actually sold 245,000 units this year.
Wow.
Now that's a big number. And also the Dodge Ram just got updated recently with a new cabin tech. The interior looks really nice. New engines. You know, they have the 5.7 liter Magnum V8, and the 2500 has a 5-speed manual. You know, I think the new transmissions have a 6 or an 8-speed depending on which model you go with. And the 3500s, they have the dualies in the back, so they have the 6 wheels. You know, they have the duals. Yeah, those are nice. So yeah, I'm glad to see that truck in here. Number 6 is back to a car again, and that would be the Ford Fusion. I think this is the first. Yeah, this is the first Ford up here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the first Ford.
The Fusion.
Yeah, the Fusion, and I will say it's a nice looking car, selling 400, selling 248,000 units this year.
Well, the Fusion. Well, I mean, if you're a gas saver, yeah, that's a really good car.
Well, it actually has really good lines. It has a very, I think, bold front grille. I like what Ford's doing right now, where they have like these 2 strips of stainless steel, and then they have their badge in there. It looks really nice. Yeah, but Ford has been in the news a lot for redoing their whole company. I mean, in the 90s, they were getting a lot of bad reviews with their engines and stuff, and Ford is famous for fix or repair daily or found on the roadside dead, you know.
Yes.
But lately, they've been really good at keeping up with what people want. They're like one of the best companies on surveys. Like, they ask their customers, what would you like in a car, and they actually do it.
Oh, wow.
They're really good at doing that.
That's actually pretty good. So those commercials I see, they're not actually fake. They're actually real.
Well, yeah, you have to. I mean, the ones where like I traded to a Ford and I got this. Yeah, well, I always take those with a grain of salt. I'm pretty sure they got paid to do it.
Probably.
Yeah, like, well, Toyota did the same thing, remember?
Yeah.
They would have some guy in a lot, and I'm pretty sure those are all paid actors. They just get some really crappy looking video camera, and then it looks okay. But the next one is a Ford again, the Ford Escape for 2011.
Really?
Yeah, numbering at 254,000 units again.
Wow, 2 Fords in a row.
Yeah, two
Then
Fords.
They're really upgrading their stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, being at number 5 and 6 right now.
Yeah, that's pretty
But
good.
number 5, the Ford Escape. It's the little tiny SUV. It's like their crossover SUV. I think it was the Escape is one of their newer models, I think, right? Or I think I'm getting confused with the Explorer.
No, the Ford Explorer's been around.
No, I know that it's been around, but I think the Explorer just changed. It's no longer like a full truck. Now it's a unibody, I think.
Is it really?
I think so. I think they changed it. I think I'm getting my things mixed up, but I know the Escape, it's like a little tiny compact crossover. And it's supposed to be very good using, Ford's Ecotec 6-cylinder engine that produces like a V8's amount of power using twin turbos and direct injection in it. So it's selling pretty good. Number 4. Now this one I'm not too surprised that it's here, but I ask myself why. It's the Nissan Altima.
Oh, the Altima.
It's selling at 269,000 units if you round up.
Oh, wow.
That's a lot of merchandise.
Yes, that's a lot.
Now I will say that it made huge strides last year in its sales. For 2011, they were up 17.3%.
Wow, that's a lot.
Versus the 2010 year. So that's really good.
That's a lot.
But they couldn't quite catch up to the Camry. But that's where this car is aimed for, is for those Camry people that want something else.
Oh, okay. They're trying to convert Camry to an Altima.
And also, actually, there was a special trim package for this year because this year, the 2011 year, was the 20th anniversary of the Altima being in production. Yeah, so I guess they released a special trim package.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. 20 years. You got to admit, for a car company to keep one model for 20 years means that they're doing something right with it.
Oh yes.
A lot of cars, they go out within like their second gen. The second and third gen seems to be like where a lot of cars just get killed off or they don't make it past. Number 3 with you don't really need to even aim at this bullseye. It's the Toyota Camry, selling 309,000 units.
Wow, that's a lot.
Even with the tsunami, which hit March 11th, I mean, this thing is it's America's most popular car.
Wow.
Yeah. And I guess the newest version for 2012 is going to be coming out soon. So they take out the aggressive front end. If you notice, like the previous Camry, it's where the badge was in the front of the grill. Yeah. It protruded a lot forward. It looked like a nose, like kind of like like a Jewish car or something. It just looked a little weird. But I guess they're toning down the lines. I will say that last generation with that protruding nose, that front badge, they tried to go with a bolder statement, which I heard drew away a lot of people. They didn't want that. They don't buy that car for it's a major macho looks. They want a car that just looks and runs okay. Now, with that said, that is the number 1 car, which leaves 2 spots left, and they're not cars.
Number 1 car? Yeah, because I was like, wait.
Yeah. Number 3 is the number one car which means, the 4-wheeled regular cars that I'm pretty sure everyone else has.
The commuter car.
Yeah, commuter car. Now, the next 2, they're pretty jeez, they're huge. They're huge vehicles, and they're number 1 and 2. Here in America.
They took up both spots?
Yeah, both spots, and they're the same category too. They're the same.
Really?
They're the same class and the same category.
Oh,
number 2, which I hope would be number 1, but number 2, selling 415,000 units this year. It's like a rock, Chevrolet with the Silverado.
Oh wow!
Which is their full-sized pickup truck, selling at number 2. Now that thing is huge. This sales actually climbed 12.2% from 2012. 2010. I'm sorry.
That's pretty decent.
And General Motors, I guess they're going to upgrade 3 of the plants that build this truck because I heard that the next generation is already underway.
Oh wow!
I think for 2013 they're going to release the new looking generation of the truck, and they're spending $928 million to retrofit those 3 new plants to build the new Silverado.
Wow.
But, I mean, if they're selling this many trucks, being number 2 on America's list, And every time there's a Chevy, there's a Ford that competes with it. You know, there's always been that taboo of Ford and Chevrolet fighting with each other. Like, oh, I'm a Ford guy, I'm a Chevy guy.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, being number 2, that's pretty impressive. It's always a back and forth drawn like that. And if you're able to spend $928 million to renovate just 3 of their plants, General Motors has a ton of plants. This is just their truck plants for that particular model.
No, wow.
And they're spending that much. They're almost spending $1 billion to make their next truck. That's
just the truck alone.
yeah.
Wow, that's a lot.
That's not including their.
Dude,
they have a ton of brands right now. They have the Impala, the Camaro, the Spark, the Cruise.
But they're spending $1 billion just to renovate.
Renovate an existing plant to make their next generation trucks for like the next 5 years, and then they'll probably do it again.
That's dedication for you, man.
And I got to give it to like I already gave away the first one right now by saying that Ford is number 1. It's always Chevy and Ford trying to compete with each other. Now this is an impressive number. The Ford F-150 selling at 585,000 units. That's a little over 500,000 in sales just for this particular model for Ford alone.
That was just last year only.
Yeah.
Damn, that's a lot.
And the main thing that I have to say that probably made this truck more popular than the Chevrolet, because Chevrolet was last year's Motor Trend Truck of the Year. Their HD 2500.
Oh, wow.
This year, Motor Trend's Truck of the Year is the F-150, which is America's number 1 selling model right now. And it's the most it's sold this year out of all of them. It gained 24.4% of market share. So from 2010 and 11, it went up 24.4% in sales. That's impressive alone. But I think the main thing is that, like I had mentioned before, they have a new engine line for the truck, which is called the Ford EcoBoost motor. That's a V6 that pumps out the same torque and horsepower that an older V8 would. So that truck actually gets 23 miles to the gallon, and it's not a hybrid. It's just using direct injection instead of sequential fuel injection, and it's using a V6 layout.
Car.
Well, I have the same. I have the twin of the Silverado, the current generation, which is the GMC Sierra, and yeah, that doesn't do very good on numbers either.
But the F-150,
yeah, 23 miles to the gallon highway. That is pretty good
for a truck.
I heard that
a full-size truck.
Yeah,
that's good.
Ram does I think 19 highway, and the Chevrolet and GMC equivalents do I think 21 max highway. So Ford is beating everybody with that 2 extra MPG, which will add up in the long run. So that's a really good number. And I got to say though that this particular generation of the Ford truck, it looks really good. Like it has a really nice business grill. You know, it just looks like it's meant for work. That's all it's kind of meant for. But it's not like so work horse that it looks like you can't have fun with it. You know what I mean? That's why I think what the one thing that Dodge doesn't have. Well, I forgot that Dodge doesn't make the trucks anymore. They split that division to Ram. But the Ram, those are the big 3 in America. Is the Ram from the Chrysler Corporation, the Silverado, and there's some underneath it would be the GMC Sierra, being that, and then the Ford has their F-150. So I mean, 2 trucks being on America's number 1 selling top 10 list here.
I have to admit though, the F-150 is pretty nice. I've been in one. Has very good power. But 23
highway. And I think right now that V6 EcoBoost motor equals almost 50% of total vehicles sold. So 50% of the vehicles that Ford has sold,
EcoBoosters.
Yeah, they have V6 engines in those trucks. And nowadays it isn't like back in the old days. Everybody always wanted. That's the thing with Americans, with the way that American manufacturers were, is that if you didn't have the V8, you weren't really the big player in the game. So, but I mean, nowadays
the rules have changed.
I think it's just mainly the economy with people worrying about gas. I mean, my truck, I was driving it. I own that GMC Sierra 1500, and I mean, driving it every week, I'd have to gas. I drive a lot to work. That truck probably eats about a good 2.5 tanks a week. If I was maxing out my range. And each tank fill up was about $80. So I don't disagree with them putting a V6 in there, but it's not like a lackluster V6. This thing still gets about 200 plus horsepower, almost 300.
That's actually really good.
I think one of the cheaper models, you can get the regular V6, which why would you do that? I think they don't even charge you extra for the EcoBoost motor. It's just a different package, a trim package.
Oh, wow.
So you're pretty much just paying for the electronics and stuff on the outside, you know what I mean? But it's a really good looking vehicle. And I'm glad to see that's number 1 here. So that's pretty awesome, though. But I mean, over 500,000 in sales
In 1 year?
in 1 year.
Jeez.
That is awesome. I'm so struck by it though. But at least it's a big truck though. But I guess what the American says, they are safer because you're higher off the ground,
Yeah, that's true.
and they have full, not roll cages, but their bodies are on top of full frame. So, I mean, if there's a truck and a Toyota Camry, if this Ford and that Camry were meeting each other, you know who's going to win. If there was an accident or something on the freeway,
Quote unquote accident.
yeah, that Ford is totally going to win. You know what I mean?
Dude, I think you'd be able to drive off with just going bye.
Yeah, without a scratch. That's pretty sad.
I think the tire on the Ford would just run over the Camry.
Yeah, but I'm really glad to see that those two big vehicles are up there like that, though.
Gotta hand it to him.
Yeah, I mean, that is impressive. Hopefully this year, we'll have more cars. I'm hoping that there'll be more sales from Cadillac and Buick, because those sales were down really bad this year.
But I just realized though they really remade their stuff because they got 3 top 10s.
Yeah,
That's pretty good.
The American market for a little while before was not getting in this top 10 for a little while. And now they're getting back in here and playing seriously hard. And now it's almost to the point where it was back in the 80s where they don't have to worry about the Japanese so much. They're just competing against themselves. You remember those ads a long time ago? It was, oh yeah, our Ford does better than Chevrolet and all that. And for a little while, GM was competing against its own divisions. Oh, don't buy a Pontiac, buy a Chevrolet. They were doing that for a little while. They were doing that for 5 years when they were really good.
Oh wow!
All right,
they're coming back.
Yeah. All right, we got to go. This has been Speed on the B3 Radio Network.